Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Chat Show podcast. I'm your host, Justin Everett. If you're just now joining us, we are talking with video game designer Tyler Hill. Tyler, it's a great pleasure to have you here on our show once again. Now, before we cut to the commercial break, Tyler, we were talking about the other new video game you're working on, Ninja Ferrets. That's right, folks. It's a video game about ferrets who are ninjas. And it sounds a little wacky and out there, but Tyler, let me tell you something. I know there's an audience for this. There's always an audience for pretty much anything. Because you got to look at it this way. I'm sure the people who created Call of Duty, when they first pitched it to a major video game company, I'm sure the people at the video game company were thinking, a video game where you're an army guy running around on a map shooting other army guys? I mean, come on, that's a little far-fetched and out there. So any idea that's a little unusual is going to sound far-fetched and out there, like yours, Tyler, about the Ninja Ferrets. But I'm telling you, man, I know there is an audience for a game like this. And it sounds really cool and fun. I'd definitely be into playing it because I just love things that are out there and unusual. I mean, ferrets who are ninjas, you know, they fight, throw stars, or I don't know, they might throw that little wheel they run on at people. I have no idea. Anyway, Tyler, I know this is going to be a great video game, and there's going to be people out there who are going to enjoy it and just grow to love it. Maybe people who are a little skeptical about it at first, but then they give it a try, they're going to grow to love it. I know it, I know it, I know it. Anyway, speaking of ferrets, Tyler, you reminded me of a story that happened with my old buddy, Brandon, who I called Scoop. Because back in high school, I used to have this really good buddy named Brandon, and every Friday night I'd go over to his house and hang out with him. And he lived with his lived with his grandma. And so one day, me and Brandon were sitting in his room playing video games. His grandma comes in there, gets on to him, you know, you need to do these chores, starts yelling at him. And that's kind of how the story begins. And so I'll pick it up from there. So anyway, he gets mad at her and he tells her, "Shut up, you old witch." She said, "Witch? I'll show you, witch. I cast a spell on you. Come here, hocus pocus." And they start chasing each other around his room. I'm sitting on the bed just laughing and dying because she's like chasing him around the room, and she like pulls a curler out of her hair and she like attempts to beat him with the curler, and she's chasing him around the room. And then Brandon just stops at the little tank where the ferret was, pulls it out, and says, "You know what, Mama? I'm sick of you. I'm tired of you griping and getting on to me in front of my company, and here's what I'm going to do about it." Boom! Hits her right in the face with this live ferret. Just whoop! It was like the scene in that Matrix, the Matrix movie, where Keanu Reeves is all slow motion, just boom! And then right when that ferret hit her face, she was like, "Oh, no, you didn't! No, you didn't!" And she rips the head wrap and the curlers off and just starts twirling it around and chucks it at him. Brandon, he ducks, and then he comes back and starts hitting her in the face again with this live ferret. The ferret is alive. It's not a dead ferret he's beating her with. You beat somebody with a dead ferret, that's one thing. But to beat someone with the live ferret, you've gone insane. So he's boom, 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 and then she grabs his wrist. "Give me that." "No, give it to me. It's mine. Give me that." They're fighting over this ferret. "Give me that ferret. Give me that ferret." She grabs the ferret out of his hand and it's squeaking. And then she grabs it out of his hand and starts hitting him with it. Boom, 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 boom. Hits him repeatedly in the face. The ferret's still alive. Still alive, keep in mind. Boom, boom. So they're just going back and forth, back and forth. She hits him with the ferret. He grabs it out of her hand. He hits her. She grabs it out of his hand. She hits him. Back and forth, back and forth. The poor ferret is just squeaking, screaming for his life. Meanwhile, I'm on the floor crying from laughing so hard. And then finally they wear each other out. That was funny about their fights and their spats. It would go for a few minutes, then they'd go, "Oh, no more." And then you say, "Okay, Mama, no more. I'm sorry. I'll go do the chores." She was like, "Thank you, baby." And then she left like nothing happened. And then and then he sits back down and starts playing the game, and I'm just sitting there with my jaw dropped, frozen, like with shock. Just like when Roger, on that scene in American Dad where Roger looks at Haley and Steve for deleting his Bones episodes, that face, that frozen, shocked face, that's what I have. And then I come back to the house 2 days later. That ferret, who has just been used as a weapon, is in his little tunnel. He is not coming out, just stuck staying in there. Back before they used him as a weapon, he'd be running on the wheel, running around the tank. I'd come in there, he'd poke his little head out and smile with his tongue out like a dog. I come in there 2 days later after they've used him as a weapon. That thing is in seclusion, in the tunnel. It is not coming out. It ain't even moving. I'm like, is that thing dead? He's like, no. I guess we just shell-shocked it from using him as a weapon. I was like, yeah, I don't blame him. He is in that tunnel, still, just shell-shocked. Brandon drops some food in the tank. He runs out, gets the food, runs back into the tunnel. It's like he's like in the army trying to like when he's running down to something and one of the soldiers tells the other soldier, cover me, you know. When you tell a soldier cover you, you're running. Like you're just running straight. That's what he did. He ran straight, got the food, ran back. It was like a reconnaissance mission. You didn't even see it. It was just a blur. Just he comes out of that tunnel, pew pew, to get that food and back in. And that's the only time he would come out ever again to go get that food. They shell-shocked this poor ferret by using it as a weapon. And you know, every time I tell people this story, even you, Tyler, they don't believe me. You didn't believe me at first when I told you this story, did you? You were like, you gotta be making this up.
No, I didn't at all.
You thought I was making it up, didn't you?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. There's no way I'm that creative, alright? God has blessed me with a creative mind. I've written 4 novels. I've written songs. I've written stories. Yes. But he didn't bless me with that much creativity. There's no way I can make that up, alright? I seen it. I synced, like some people say, I synced it with my own 2 eyes. When I told you that story at first, you were laughing pretty hard too, weren't you? Or you're probably laughing pretty hard right now after hearing it.
Yeah.
Because you're just playing it in your mind and imagining it, huh?
Yeah.
And when you're playing it in your mind and imagining it, that's what I saw, but except it was in person up close.
Oh my god.
Had you actually seen it and witnessed it in person like me, like, would you have also been on the floor crying and laughing with me?
I'd have probably died.
Oh gosh, because you couldn't breathe from laughing so hard?
Yeah.
Wow. Trust me, it happened. They grabbed that poor ferret and were beating each other with it, a live ferret. See, some people I tell this story to, they don't laugh. They're just like, I guess you had to see it. But apparently not you. You don't care. You're imagining it.
Oh my god.
So you didn't even see it, and you're cracking up
Yeah.
just from hearing it.
Yeah.
Which do you think is funnier, the time when they were beating each other with the live ferret, or when she was burning her hair?
Alive man.
Yeah, yeah. See, when she said she was burning her hair, I was laughing only because I was so freaked out. You know, it was one of those like, I was laughing because it was so ridiculous. Like there's all kinds of laughter. You laugh when you think something's super funny. You laugh when you think something's so ridiculous and stupid. You laugh. That was my laugh for the burning the hair because it was so stupid and ridiculous. That's why I laughed. I didn't laugh because it was funny.
Oh my god.
I also have another crazy story to go along with the one I just told. And we're just sitting there playing a video game. I think it was Halo. And we smell something burning. And we start sniffing. And I'm like, you smell something burning? And he said, yeah, what is that? It's coming from your grandma's room. So we walked back to his grandma's room, which was right next door to his. And we see her in there. She was giving herself a haircut. And what she was doing, she'd cut a strand of hair off of her head, and then she'd hold the clump or the strand in between her index finger and thumb. Then she'd get a lighter and burn it. And that's what we smelled burning. And Brandon was like, Mama. He always called his grandma Mama. He was like, Mama, what you doing? She said in that voice, I'm burning my hair. And he was like, why? Because I don't want when I throw it away in the trash can, I don't want nobody to find it, take the DNA, and frame me for murder. And me and Brandon just look at each other and go, huh? And I told her, I always called her Miss Connie. I said, Miss Connie, Can you repeat that? Yeah, I said I'm burning my hair because if I throw it away in the trash can, somebody gonna dig in there, find it, take the DNA, and frame me for murder. I ain't doing that crap. That's why I'm burning my hair. And I look at Brendan, and we walk back in the hall, and we just kind of look at her and go, okay, okay. We walk back in the hall, and I'm like, Brandon, your grandma's gone cuckoo. She's off her rocker. I said, I think her hair dye is seeping into her brain. I was like, does she hear what she just said? Does she hear herself when she talks? She's insane. She's out of her mind. She just said she's burning her hair because she's afraid if she throws it in the trash can, someone's going to dig in there, find it, take the DNA from the hair, and frame her for murder? Huh? And we're just looking at each other with these puzzled looks on our face. And then we go back in there and we're like, and I'm like, Miss Connie, let me get this straight. You're burning your hair because you're afraid if you throw it in the trash, someone's going to find it, take it out, take the DNA from the hair and frame you for murder? She said, yeah, I watch I Almost Got Away with It. I know how it goes down. I've seen Dateline NBC. I've seen 48 Hours. I know what I'm doing. I seen all that. She said, I watched an episode of 48 Hours. This was up in Clear Lake, Iowa. So this girl cut her hair and threw it in the trash. And then this man who had been stalking her took the hair out the trash, took the DNA, and framed her for murder. She went to jail. That ain't gonna happen to me. And I looked at her and I said, okay, first of all, Miss Connie, we're in Texas, not Iowa. Secondly, you hear the word, the man knew who she was? This was a personal thing, okay? I don't think some random person is going to take your hair, take the DNA, and frame you for murder. This man knew her. You said he was stalking her. He knew her. So that's why that happened. And I said, what else did they say about this on 48 Hours? She said, yeah, he was stalking her. And actually, they had been married 3 years earlier. But then he started stalking her again. I was like, you see right there, they knew each other. This was some weird, psychotic, personal love triangle thing, okay? That's why that happened. I doubt it's gonna, see, he knew her. I doubt some random person that doesn't even know who you are is gonna dig through the trash and take your hair and frame you for DNA. The only reason that happened, you said they were married, they knew each other, and he still loved her after they divorced, and he started stalking her. So, you know, to get back at her or whatever, because he's crazy, he took her hair and framed her for murder. That's because they knew each other, alright? You don't know anyone who's psychotic. She's like, I don't know. Some of my friends seem pretty weird, seem pretty psycho. She said, just yesterday, my friend Clarice put pickles and peanut butter on her sandwich. Pretty psycho, pretty weird. I'm just saying. We looked at each other again. Huh? You see? That's where it starts. The psychos, they start eating weird food. They put pickles and peanut butter on their sandwiches. Next thing you know, take your friend's hair, take the DNA, frame you for murder. Boom. My friends are already showing signs of psychotic. She made up a word. She'd always make up words. Psychotity. I was like, we look at each other. Psychotity. That's not even a word. My friends are already showing signs of psychotity. I don't know. You can never be too careful. Never ever. And we were like, wow. And she continued doing it. She'd cut a clump of her hair, hold it in her hand, take that lighter, light it up. And then she put the ashes in a little box. And then she kept the little box on her dresser with a little sticky note on it that said, "My beautiful locks, R.I.P." I was like, she's really gone loco.
Oh my gosh.
You know, but she was a nice old lady. She was just kind of weird. I mean, I guess even though that is kind of loco and psycho, I mean, she's an old lady. She wasn't that old. She wasn't like what's the word? What's that word? What the old people senile. Thank you. Yes, senile. She wasn't senile. She was just a little weird. You know, she was normal. She wasn't mentally unstable. She wasn't senile. She was a perfectly sane, normal woman. She was just a little weird.
Oh my god.
And just a little paranoid. And I guess that's why she was doing this. So, yeah. But she was a really nice, funny woman. She'd always make me crack up. I loved going over there. But anyway, it was crazy, and I nearly died from laughing so hard. And you know, lots of people would say, no way, that didn't really happen. You made that up. Let me tell you something, folks. God has blessed me with many things, including a creative mind, but there is no way I'm that creative to make something up as crazy as that story I just told. It really happened. Trust me, I was there. It was a while ago, yes, but I remember it like it was yesterday because it was that horrifying and shocking and crazy. I'm telling you, man, I have seen so many crazy things in my life and met so many crazy, unusual people. I could just write a whole book series and it would sell for like $1 million. I could write just this whole series of novels based on all the crazy people I've met and all the crazy things I've seen throughout my life. And I could retire with $1 million because people would go, I'm sure, crazy over this book series to read it. So anyway, yeah, it's interesting, just the people you meet and the things you see in this life. And I'm sure I'm going to see more crazy and unusual and interesting things as I, continue living. And I'm sure I'm going to meet even more crazy and interesting and unusual people. But anyway. But anyway, folks, that's our show. Hey, Tyler Hill, we want to thank you so much once again for stopping by. It's been a pleasure having you here on the Chat Show podcast. Come back anytime. Hey, you can also buy all of Tyler's video games he's created. You just go to his website, tylertheultimategamer.com. All the video games Tyler's created are right there on his website. Any information you want to know about them is on the website. The plot, what they're about, what systems they're compatible with, all right there on his website. So if you're not really interested into the Ninja Ferrets game that he's working on, trust me, Tyler has many, many other great games for any avid video gamer. You're going to love them. Once again, that's tylertheultimategamer.com. Be sure to check out all his video games he's created. They are all available for purchase, and it's going to be a great gift or just a fun time for any avid video gamer. Hey, I want to thank you all so much for listening to the Chat Show podcast. It's been fun. I'm your host, Justin Everett. Tune in next time for another exciting episode. We'll see you all later.